Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to this episode of Licking Ladles. Today we're going to cover our top 5 favorite easy game day appetizers. Before we get started, we're going to run you through what we'll be cooking today. We're going to start with pigs in a blanket. A combination of smokiness and crispy flaky pastry.
Then we're going to do our loaded nachos, a dish that everybody's going to love.
Then I'll show you how to make a holiday staple in my house, Hanky Pankys. Savory sausage mixed with cheese on top of toasted rye cocktail bread.
Then we'll move on to our buffalo mac and cheese bites recipe. It combines the creamy comfort of mac and cheese and the kick of a buffalo chicken.
Finally, I'll show you my favorite of the bunch, smoked barbecue pulled pork sliders topped with our homemade pickled onions. And if you do like what you see, please consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. Make sure you grab your ladle, sit back, and enjoy.
Are you excited?
So for pigs in a blanket, you're going to start by grabbing some cocktail hot dogs. Then you're going to need some puff pastry. We're going to be using both butter flake crescents and corn dog wraps. Alright, we're going to roll out our pastry dough. You want to try to keep it kind of square if you can. You want the width to be just shy of 2 of the cocktail hot dogs. You're going to grab your knife and cut your dough down the middle. Then wrap a piece around to get an idea of what length to cut them at. Wrap the dough around each dog, making sure the ends are connected. Alright, so we're all finished rolling them. We got the corn dog ones on this side and the crescents over on this side. Now set your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. While it's preheating, transfer your dogs from your cutting board over to a foil-lined baking tray. Then mix a couple egg yolks together and brush them over the pastry dough. This will ensure we get that nice, crispy, golden brown texture we're aiming for. Now once your dogs are all coated with the egg wash, go ahead and grab your tray and throw it in the oven. You're going to leave these in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes, or until nice and golden brown.
Oh, look at that, baby.
There you have it, pigs in a blanket. Next up, loaded nachos.
So now we're going to make our loaded nachos. It's a layer of nachos covered in ground beef, pico de gallo, black beans, salsa, cheese, jalapenos, and sour cream. We're going to start off with making our pico. Start off by cutting 3 tomatoes. Just like that. Next you're going to move on to your onion. Right in here. Okay, just like that. No, I'm crying because I'm fat. I'm depressed. Now that you're done cutting your onion, move on to your jalapenos. Let's go. Next, you're gonna get 1 bunch of cilantro. Me and Eric disagree on whether corn goes in pico or whether it's not. I believe it doesn't, and he believes it does. Let us know down in the comments what you think. Put a little more. There you go. So next you're going to cut up your limes. Mix this up. And there you have it, fresh pico. So now you're going to heat up a pan over high heat and you're going to brown up your ground beef. Right like that. Some salt. A little bit of cumin. Add a little bit of black beans. Like that. We're going to be using a smoky chipotle salsa. This looks good. Now you're going to add a layer of your Tostitos chips. Just like that. Get it around. Add a little bit of your pico that you had earlier today. Just like that. Be as generous as you want, actually. This is your dish. Add some Monterey Jack. Just like that. Be as generous as you want. I know you love cheese as much as I do. Good. Now you're going to throw this in the oven for a little bit just to melt that cheese up. Throw it in here. Just like that. Look at that. Looks good. Next you're going to add your favorite sour cream. There. Just put just like that. Make it look all nice. Little strokes like that. Take it, just sprinkle over your chives.
Just like that.
Now let's make some Hanky Pankys. And be sure to stick around for the fourth recipe where we make buffalo chicken mac and cheese bites, because those are going to knock your face off. So we're going to start with 1 medium onion. Dice this up, set it aside. Now you're going to grab 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of pork sausage. Go ahead and add your sausage and your ground beef. And chop this up and let it start to brown. All right, once your meat starts to brown like this, go ahead and add your diced onion. A little bit of crushed red pepper flakes. And a dash of cayenne pepper. All right, once your meat's looking nice and brown, you're gonna grab a 16-ounce pack of Velveeta and stir it in. Once your meat and cheese looks like this, go ahead and grab your rye bread and add a portion to the top of each one. All right, so after you have all your pieces of rye bread covered in your meat and cheese mix, you're gonna go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 and cook it for 10 to 15 minutes. Ooh, those smell good. Very good. That's how to make Hanky Pankys.
So now we're gonna make our buffalo chicken mac and cheese bite. Start by grabbing a whole rotisserie chicken and start shredding it. Then get your pot of boiling water ready and add your elbow macaroni to it. So you're gonna cook it for about 7 minutes, or at least until your pasta is al dente. Make sure that you save a small cup of pasta water, just in case you're gonna use it. We got a little macaroni flake in there. Just drop all your pasta in, like that. Put your water away. Set your pan over medium heat. Wait until that heats up. We're gonna start by making our roux. So we're gonna use 2 tablespoons of butter. Add 1/4 cup of flour. Just keep rotating it around. It's gonna start smelling like movie theater popcorn in here. Heavy cream. Start trying to work that roux in. It starts to bubble like that, it's moving too fast. Remember to turn down your heat. Just keep working that in. Now you can tell this is already starting to get a little thick. So with this, I like to add just a little bit more cream. Just a little bit of nutmeg here. Not a lot. You literally just need a pinch. Mix it in. This nutmeg is going to help add a lot of depth. Adding cheese to any bechamel will turn it into a mornay. Forget to add a tiny bit of salt. The 2 cheeses we will be using will be a Monterey Jack and a mild cheddar. That. Look how nice and creamy that looks. And just in case this ever breaks on you, remember that pasta water we saved from earlier. You can add a little bit to it. This will help bring it all together. Now you have a wonderful cheese sauce for your mac and cheese. I'm trying to bring our chicken up to temp by adding it here. Bring that in, fold that all together, and add your cheese sauce in to your macaroni and cheese. How nice and creamy that looks. This is kind of what you're looking for right here. This wonderful plop. Since we're doing buffalo mac and cheese bites, we're gonna add some Frank's Red Hot to this. Oh yeah, fuck yeah. That's where it's at. First, what you're gonna try to do is you're gonna try to cool this down by putting it inside of the fridge. So I'm trying to spread this out on a baking sheet so that way it has more surface area to cool down faster. It's in there like this. And then just like that. Now once your mac and cheese is done cooling, you're gonna scoop it up, just like this. Get a nice big ball of it in your hand. Then use your palm, just scoop them, just like that. Scoop them as you go. Alright. Now that they're all rolled up, you're gonna get these back in the fridge so that way they can firm back up. So that we bread them. Now we're gonna get our breading mixture ready. First, we're going to start off by getting 2 cups of flour, like this. Okay. I'm going to crack 3 eggs into a bowl, just like that. Go. Next, you scramble it. Set that off to the side, and then grab your panko. Next, you're going to grab a heavy bottom pot. We're going to be using a 5-quart Dutch oven. Next, you're going to grab your vegetable oil, and you're going to fill this up with just enough to cover the balls. Next, you're going to grab a few balls, put them inside of your flour mixture. Make sure you get any excess flour off. Then you drop it in your egg mixture. Get as much of this yolked up as you can, and drop it into your panko. Incorporate all of that breadcrumbs into your mac and cheese ball. Once your oil's hot, you're going to drop your balls in 5 at a time, so that way your oil can stay hot. Once these are golden brown, you're going to set them on a cooling rack. This is a snack that definitely won't disappoint your family. Delicious. It's hot all the way through. If you don't like buffalo sauce that much, you could always dip it in ranch or blue cheese that you like. I personally like ranch. But this is where it's at.
So now we're going to talk about my favorite recipe of the day, smoked barbecue pulled pork sliders. Stay tuned because I'm also going to show you a super simple recipe for our homemade pickled onions you can use as a crunchy topping. You're going to start by getting yourself a big hunk of meat. We're going to be using a 5-pound pork shoulder. Go ahead and cover this in your favorite rub. Make sure to get it completely covered. Now we're going to set the smoker to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it comes to temperature, it's time to throw on the pork. We're going to let this cook for about 6 hours. Alright, so now we're going to make our pickled onions for our pulled pork sliders. First, we're going to thinly slice up 2 red onions. Now we're going to add these to our mason jar. Now we're going to set this aside while we make our pickling liquid. So to do that, you're going to place a pot over high heat. To that, you're going to add 1 cup water, 1 cup white vinegar, 3 tablespoons of sugar, a tablespoon and a half of salt, a few black peppercorns, and 1 bay leaf. And once it comes to a rolling boil, you're going to go ahead and add your pickling liquid to your onions. Set this aside for now so it can cool down while the pork continues to cook. So now the internal probes are about 160. We're going to go ahead and wrap it in foil along with a mixture of apple cider vinegar and brown sugar. So now that the probes are back in, we're going to let it smoke till it reaches about 204. After this, what you need to do is let it sit for about an hour to let all the juices and flavors incorporate. I like to wrap it in a towel and just throw it in a cooler. Before you put it in, you're going to give it a little kiss. Drop her in.
Just like the kids.
First, we're going to grab our pork out of the cooler, put it in a large pan, and we're going to go ahead and shred it up. Ooh, look at all that smoke. So once your pork's all shredded, you're going to go ahead and add your barbecue sauce. We're going to be using sweet and spicy, just a little bit. Alright, we're finished up with the pork. Now we're going to go ahead and assemble our sliders. We're going to be using brioche slider rolls. We're going to start with the bottom bun, then add a little bit of barbecue sauce. Go ahead and add a big heap of pulled pork on each sandwich. Now we're going to grab our pickled onions from earlier, add those to the top. Now we're going to add 2 pickles to the top of each sandwich. And then finally top with your top bun. And there you have it, smoked barbecue pulled pork sliders. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you find any value in this, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy cooking.